Hello and welcome to Buildings of Tomorrow. My name is John Lester, and in today's episode, we are talking about fire safety services and the future of fire safety services. We're going to have a little bit of a look beyond where we are today to understand a little bit about what could be happening and where we could be going from a fire safety services perspective. I'm really happy and excited to be joined by two experts today. Ruud Geelen, who is the Global Vice President of Service Portfolio at Siemens Smart Infrastructure, and Miguel Coll, who is the Global Portfolio Director for Fire Safety Services, also at Siemens Smart Infrastructure. Ruud, Miguel, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello. Thank you, John. Good to see you again.
It's a pleasure, and thanks for saying again, because we have had one conversation before, and we've talked a lot about the digitalization of fire safety services. So much has happened over these last years in a relatively traditional market of fire safety. And within the service part of this industry as well, we've seen a lot of things happen, a lot of digital technology starting to be applied. You and your teams, as you discussed with us in the previous episode, are using this today, finding benefits, finding customer value within leveraging this digital technology. And I feel like there's been quite a bit of a journey that's already happened, but we still have a long way to go. So today, we'd like to talk about what's really cutting edge. We know where we are today, but what's next? Well, let's postulate a little bit and think about what could be next in the future as we develop and leverage this technology more. And I bring that question to you first, Ruud. Where do you see us going? Where do you think we will be next from a fire safety services perspective?
Extremely excited because, of course, we go digital there as well. Let's do a short recap. What we discussed in the previous podcast is that we were showing already that we were deploying preventive corrective services above site with a digitally enhanced maintenance approach. So doing basically the same tasks that we are doing on site, but doing that with additional technology to do that remote, or even better to do it both, right? With support above site and the on site, the technicians. So that was basically the first step that we took, and that has been very successfully being deployed and roll out all across the globe. As a next step, is something that we are currently putting into place with our new FS20i portfolio, is this more condition-based maintenance approach. So what we do is we continuously monitor our systems. We report the system performance, such as events and alarms, which anything that might be relevant to enable smart decision making, to increase levels of safety and to ensure a certain business continuity for our customers. And like we said also last time, is what we do now on top is kind of digital health checks, right? So we are running additional scripts. We are monitoring and reporting soiling levels. We do disturbance-free testing of all the detectors, all remotely and in a frequency that fits to our customer needs. So this is today available. Now, everything we do, everything what we so we get the data out, we map it, we categorize it, etc., and we are actually already able to bring that into a kind of a predictive maintenance approach. However, that's being done by our experts. So the way how you analyze the data and translate data into a recommendation how to optimize the performance of systems that will positively contribute to the level of safety and business continuity of our customers is still being done by our experts. So it's very labor intensive. And that requires capacity and competences, and that of course is limited available, and it's also very expensive. So in order to scale that and to make these services available for all customers all around the world, we want to automate that. So we are currently automating the analysis that we are doing on the data and come up with predictions also completely automated to really come to that predictive, and even in the next step, prescriptive approach. So are you also able to not only expect what it's going to fill, but also are you also able to automate what you should do in order to prevent that? And that's the prescriptive part of it. So we are working with our subject matter experts. They're working on use cases. They are working very intensively with data scientists. Extremely excited. We have never done that in fire safety before. We are finding data patterns. We are identifying then what could be a potential algorithm. But in the next step, you need to put that in a rule-based engine where we are able to put all that knowledge and all these algorithms in an automated way within that infrastructure that you can apply to massive amount of data and that we can verticalize and put into place to every single customer around the globe. So the predictive and prescriptive way in how to approach that and completely automate that, that's how the future of fire safety really looks like.
Understand. And Miguel, a question for you. When we start to achieve what Ruud describes, so we start to leverage the knowledge, the data, the insights that we're collecting now, and start to automate, start to build these rule-based scripts, start to deploy these in more places. Could you give us an example of what that could look like? If I was a customer or I had a project, what could that look like in the real world once we're able to deploy?
Sure. So, in collecting data and putting together that data lake, we are connecting systems today. We are retrieving a lot of data. We can do, supervision of all the system, health checks, but it doesn't end there. So that data lake is now the basis for start to apply uh, pattern recognition, start to apply algorithms that would help us understand what's going on with the data, not now, but as the data show us certain patterns, we can predict what is going to happen in the near future, and we can start eliminating corrective actions on site that obviously provoke an interruption for the business operation. We can move into predicting when something will go wrong. But let me bring that to specific examples so that we talk about real customer use. So we touch on the tunnels for a metro operator on the last podcast. Let's take that example again. So if we are collecting data on the soiling or contamination of the lenses on the detectors, by analyzing that data through the time, we can see spikes. If the contamination is showing a spike, we can help the customer understand, did something change in the process, or was there a repair work where a contractor failed to cover the detectors, and that made the detectors dirty, and that's money, because that will provoke that the facility management will need to exchange those detectors before. So all that information can be shown on very transparent reports, and that can help customers to go to contractors and say, listen, this is not what we agreed, or this has caused some damage in the installation. Or also, if we have danger levels and we can predict certain patterns in danger levels showing up on a certain regularity, or certain days of the week or whatever, we can also help our customers understand whether the programming of the single detectors in each of the zones is the proper one. So a lot that we do today, when it happens, we'll be able to do that preventively when we get the analysis that we are planning, and all of the engines that we are planning to apply on the data that we are collecting today.
Amazing. And so you're describing here then that ability to deploy more broadly, that ability to recognize patterns from the past and start to be more and more proactive, more and more predictive, and in a more automatic, more scalable way as well. Ruud, is that the end? Like that helps so much. What you're doing today already helps and creates value for the customers. If we can do that more, we can be even more future oriented and recognize opportunities or challenges in the future and take action before it happens. That's real value. Uh, is that the end? Like, are there next steps that we can start to leverage that connection, that insight, that capability to find even more opportunities?
Yeah, of course. So It's exactly what we are doing, and we call the technology with purpose. And there is always a purpose where we are able to positively contribute to. So there are basically two next steps, yeah, where we are going to apply that digital journey, and where we're going to step by step really creating value for our customers and provide proactive or planned maintenance instead of reactive and unplanned maintenance for our customers. So the first thing, John, is that we are verticalizing our offerings. That means that independently of the disciplines, we are creating vertical specific use cases to apply that technology with purpose to. So that means that we are currently working in healthcare and life science. We are working on commercial buildings with very specific use cases. So I would like just to mention just to give an idea and to say, okay, so how do we apply that really now into the field? Yeah. So in terms of planned, unplanned maintenance, you can imagine if you are in a hospital, I mean, that's a very inconvenient kind of time and environment to do maintenance, right? It's just can you imagine that you are, lying in a bed recovering from hopefully something which was not too serious, but then people are coming in unplanned by doing whatever they need to do. Yeah, that's just very inconvenient. So this is a good example where we say, okay, we would like to make sure that when that patient room is free, that you can plan proper maintenance within that room and never come back there, at least in the next 11, 12 months before our next kind of planned maintenance takes place. The same kind of use cases are applied within higher education or commercial buildings. What we see is that facility managers are being challenged more and more in doing more with less. So they are either being challenged by reduction of headcounts within their facility management team, or they are getting more square meters to cover with the same team. And also here, these guys are not kind of waiting for unplanned things where they need to give guidance to our technicians to get into buildings and to create access to specific rooms, etc. This is just very annoying. So this is business discontinuity, interruption, which costs money. And this is something really what we would like to avoid. So with all the services that we put in place, that's our purpose. We are creating outcomes, value for our customers to make all that stuff proactive and plannable in order to create value for our customers. So this verticalization of services in that digital journey is one. Then two, what we also want to do is that we want to extend the portfolio. So today we are very focused on detection. That's our core. So fire detection has always been one of the core strengths within our portfolio, product portfolio and service portfolio. And what we want to do now is as well to extend that, because when we listen to our customers, they challenge us and say, well, Ruud, listen, but fire safety in a building means more than just detection. We have more systems. Are you able to apply your digital journey and creating your values as well to other disciplines within the fire safety domain and buildings? And this is exactly what will be also the next step, that we will, with extended portfolio, go into that digital journey as well, and provide really value there for our customers.
Thank you for listening to part one of our conversation on the future of digital fire safety services. If you enjoyed this conversation, please remember to look out for part two, which is coming in the next couple of weeks. And as always, remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode so you can continue to find great discussions around the future of buildings and, in this case, digital services for fire safety. Thank you very much. Stay safe, enjoy, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.